ball deserves to go in the crowd after a bull move like that.
I think it's bull.
I just thought it was bull.
Don't give me that crap!
Welcome back to The Jump. I'm Rachel Nichols with Matt Barnes, Zach Lowe, and oh yeah, look what it's time for. BS or real talk. We give you quotes, you give us the emojis to react to them. First up, Pat Riley said in an interview with the Miami Herald after reflecting on the Heat's finals loss to the Lakers, quote, "They beat us fair and squarely, but there will always be that asterisk. There we go. Before you get all crazy, he clarified those comments did not mean that the Lakers have an asterisk. He told the Associated Press's Tim Reynolds, quote, "The asterisk is next to the Heat's name, not the Lakers. The title is legitimate. Our loss has the asterisk next to it. The Lakers were the better team, period." So, Zach, is Pat saying the asterisk next to the Heat's name is BS or real talk? What do you think?
Look, I've lost track of where the asterisk is supposed to be, how many news cycles we're going to get out of these comments. I call BS on the entire thing. I want the word asterisk out of the lexicon of sports altogether, and not only because I can't say it right ever. I just think injuries are a part of sports. 3 of the last 6 finals have had major injuries. It's just part of the deal. You never have to apologize for winning a championship. It's just part of life. I strike the whole thing. It's BS. I never want to hear the word again.
I love Pat. Love him to death. But it's BS. You just got to take this loss on the chin. You know, like Zach pointed out. I mean, you put an asterisk next to Toronto last year. Do you put an asterisk next to Golden State when Kyrie and Kevin were? You can't do that. Basketball's played. The Lakers won. They were the better team. So hopefully, the Miami Heat can get back on track and make it back and try to prove themselves different. But this is BS.
I understand the overall sentiment of, man, we would have really liked to see how we did with our whole team playing, right? We think we could have taken them. That's all fine. But once you get into the asterisk sentiment, it is literally an intrinsic part of the fabric of sports that things happen on your way to a championship. There is luck. There is injuries. That is true for your team, for the other team. And as you just pointed out, Matt, it happens every year. Right. It's not just this year. It's not just in the bubble. The Heat aren't the first team to have a couple starters even in the finals get hurt. We just saw it last season. So, or whatever, how many seasons we're on? It is just part of the game. Right. Moving on. Let's go to AD and LeBron. They have talked about their lack of jealousy between each other all season. No subtweet there. Anthony Davis told Dave McMenamin and Malika Andrews, quote, "Like he tells me, this is your team. This is your time. Like, I'm good." This is quoting LeBron. "If I retire today, I'm fine." So, Matt, is Anthony Davis saying LeBron tells him that the Lakers are his team? BS or real talk?
I think it's real talk. I think LeBron realizes that, he needs AD as much as anyone does. And I kind of look at the Lakers like a really fancy luxury car where AD is sitting in the back and LeBron's still the driver. Right. You know what I mean? It's still LeBron's team, but AD is, LeBron's still the most important piece to that team, but it's definitely AD's team because for night in, night out, LeBron's going into year 18. AD is still fairly young, still getting better. So, everything is definitely built around AD now.
I think it's real talk that LeBron is telling Anthony Davis that for sure. I believe that, but it's BS because it's still LeBron's team, and it's probably going to be LeBron's team. Like Matt said, LeBron's still driving the car. LeBron's still running the offense. Yes. LeBron still controls every possession. He makes a lot of decisions. He just won Finals MVP. This is still LeBron's team in the sense that we talk about whose team it is. Really, it's both their teams. They're both incredible players, so I'll split the difference.
LeBron is doing what any great, smart vet is supposed to do. You're supposed to encourage your next man up, and AD is definitely the next man up, and LeBron's doing exactly what he's supposed to be doing.
Can I work on your analogy a little bit and say that AD is the engine? If LeBron's still the driver?
I like AD sitting in the back with his feet
up and getting chauffeured around position.
LeBron's driving,
There we go. All right, next up, Brooklyn Nets head coach Steve Nash, who is setting the bar high for his team next season. In an interview with the Yes Network, Nash made it very clear that he sees the Nets as title contenders this upcoming season. By the way, he said this on The Jump as well. I just want to point that out. He said we're playing for a championship to yes. He said we're going to frame everything we do in the lens of, is this a championship characteristic or is this worth championship quality? That is actually a fantastic quote and an interesting way to see things. Zach, do you think it is BS or real talk?
Absolutely real talk. Provided Kevin Durant is at least 90% of what he was before tearing his Achilles, I actually think people are sleeping on the Nets. The people are kind of rooting for drama and the soap opera and when does it all blow up and when is there going to be passive-aggressive tweets and this and that. Fine, you can root for that. It's funny and all that. The Nets have a lot of talent. Whether they trade for a third star by consolidating some of their role players or not, whether they keep the supporting cast just as it is, this is a really good team. They're deep, they're versatile. They have Kevin freaking Durant and Kyrie Irving on their team. Yes, they're playing for a championship, absolutely.
Yes, this is definitely 100% real talk. The health, everything depends around the health around their two stars, but there's no reason why they're not in a handful of the top 4 or 5 teams in the NBA to win a championship. Kevin Durant coming back, Kyrie coming back, and then like you said, they have a very talented supporting cast. Whether they get that third star in the starting option and have an amazing bench is still to be determined. But they're definitely one of the top 5, 6 teams in the NBA, no question.
Yeah, I think it's real talk, no question. And by the way, that's what's going to put so much pressure on teams like the Milwaukee Bucks, who are going to obviously be trying to keep their super megastar, but also on teams like the Heat and the rest of the East. Just to get to the Eastern Conference Finals and get to the finals is going to be a lot harder because the Nets will be such a threat. All right, guys, coming up, speaking of the Heat, we're going to talk a little Bam Adebayo. Is he completely untouchable in any potential trade talks? That subject has come up around the league in the last couple days, and we will discuss it next, right here on The Jump.
NBA champion, once again.
Jeff Zilgit.
LeBron, 3 seasons ago, after you beat Toronto, you told Cleveland.com that you didn't have anything left to prove, or you asked what you had left to prove. And I wanted to know if that's changed over the past 3 years. Did you feel you had something to prove, and why is this one so important for you?
I think, personally, thinking I had something to prove fuels me and fueled me over these last year and a half since my injury. It fueled me because no matter what I've done in my career to this point, there's still a little rumblings of doubt or, comparing me to, the history of the game and has he done this, has he done that? Having that in my head, having it in my mind, saying to myself, why not still have something to prove? I think it fuels me.
All right, Dave McMenamin.
LeBron, all the circumstances surrounding this one, being in Orlando, having 4.5-month hiatus, away from family, everything going on in the country, how does that add context to this 4th ring versus the other 3?
I think they're all special in their own right. They all have their obstacles, things that went on throughout the course of the year, both on and off the floor. But one is not less than the other. Because when you're able to put yourself in this position to be able to win a championship, the first thing you start to think about is how much work you've put in over the course of the year. How much you've sacrificed, how much you dedicated to the game and to your craft. That's always been the most fulfilling thing for me, besides seeing my teammates as happy as they are, is being able to know that you could put the work in, literally trust the process, live up the process, and then see the results. And I think not only from a basketball player, but from everybody, whatever craft, whatever work space you're in, to be able to put the work in and live along the process and build along the process and then be able to see the results, I think we all live for that moment.
Okay, we're going to go Michael.
Okay. It's going to be everybody tonight.
LeBron, could you sense that with the mental wear of the bubble that it was getting to other teams? And in the last few days, was there kind of a weird feeling of we're reaching, not just possibly winning a championship, but reaching the end of this journey? Like, did that feel different even than the other title runs?
To answer your first question, with so much going on inside the bubble and everything, and us, going into unknown, it's kind of hard for me personally. And once I got inside here, saying, okay, this is my mission. I want to win a championship since I'm here. It was hard for me to kind of focus on other teams and what other players were feeling. I didn't engage in that. I didn't look for it. I wanted to keep my energy in the right space. And over the last couple of days, you definitely thought about it. You thought about just being here, how successful it is. And I